and welcome to a Xeni Reads video. This is 6 tips for reading to my parents. 6 tips, my parents. Number 1, do you remember, Mom? Ask every once in a while. Does your parent remember the character? Does your parent remember what happened in the chapter before? They won't always want to tell you because they just don't want to interrupt the flow. They don't want to bother you with what you're doing. They're thrilled that you're in the room with them, but they won't always remember. So you feel comfortable offering a prompt. Do you remember what happened? They'll love it. Number 2, you have to enjoy what you're reading. If you don't enjoy what you're reading, it's going to show on your face and you're going to end up with what I call bad book face. You have a finite amount of time in the day. You have a finite amount of time with them. So you want to make sure that you're enjoying it, and you want to make sure that they're not looking at you thinking, oh, they're not enjoying this. You want them to stay focused in the book, enjoying the book. And to do that, I think you really need to enjoy it yourself. So if you don't like it, it's gone. Number 3, this is a little different than asking, do you remember? This is you building in little tiny reminders during the story. You mentioned a character, John, who hasn't been around for maybe 2 or 3 chapters. John, the father of the hero's best friend. Put it in a little comma, explanation comma, or maybe in the beginning of a chapter you just remind what happened in the chapter before. Just small little tiny little additional edits, not a big deal, but they might really help. Number 4, sample. This is really a lot of fun. You are used to what you like. Your parents are used to what you think. You know what your parents like. You know what was on their bookshelves. But there's a whole bunch of stuff that's available, and so much of it is not. It's just free. So you can try different things. Maybe get a Calvin and Hobbes comic book, thing, sit next to and go through and look at the colors and see if anything makes them laugh. Maybe there was an Archie or a Superman comic book that they liked when they were little, and you can share with that. It's not something you've thought before. Maybe the newspaper maybe there's a columnist from the newspaper that has a compilation or a book of different essays from the newspaper that was in your house when you were young, and that might be really delightful. It might remind them of events that happened a long time ago, or that sort of like, yeah, I remember that. That can be a lot of fun. A cookbook, who knows? Maybe there's just this beautifully written cookbook and recipes, and you read the ingredients to your parent who loved to cook, and they're there right back there in the kitchen, even though they can't be in the kitchen right now. So nothing is off limits, and so much is available. So be sure to sample. Get a pile of stuff and see what seems to make them smile. And not everything's going to be the same every day. Every day is going to be different. There's going to be different moods and different reactions to different medications in life. But just have a lot of things on hand because you'll be surprised what clicks. Another form of editing, but this one is instead of adding gentle reminders, you're going to hop over. Sometimes there's just too much information. Sometimes there's too much of a name. Sometimes there's too many people in the scene. Just try to sort of get a sense of getting rid of things. Maybe you don't need all those flowery descriptive passages. Maybe you don't need to name everyone, even though there's a beauty in the name, and even though it's just lovely. Not every story needs it, so just kind of experiment a little bit with hopping over information. And the last one is my favorite, and that's to comment. You're not on script. This isn't a library time circle where you have to kind of read word for word for a group of people. This is your family. These are the people that these are the people that you take care of, and you're in the room, and it's communal, and it's just lovely. And so if the story that you're reading, if there's a sentence that makes you think of a family event, if it makes you laugh, if it makes you cry, if you don't like the way that it's written, if you love the way that it's written, you're allowed to editorialize. You're allowed to comment. You're allowed to be you, and you're allowed to say, remember, this was just like when Grandpa did that thing at the Thanksgiving table. That just makes everything better. And that's what we're here to do, and enjoy reading.